It's Emil. It's Emil Guillermo. Emil Amok to you. Welcome to our program. We call this the micro talk show of the AAPI and the AAXs, although you don't have to be an AAPI, an Asian American Pacific Islander, or an AANHPI, an IPI, Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander, or you don't even have to be I have this naming convention, AAX, right? So I'm an Asian American Filipino because I like to talk about Filipino things, but I'm going to talk about a Chinese guy today and a sick guy, an AAS. That would be a ass. He's sick though. Sick. That's a SIKH. Anyway, this is our micro talk show. I talk about all things considerable here, and I talk about us Asian Americans like we matter, like we count. I mean, you don't really hear an Asian American perspective on the news, and so that's what I'm going to do today. Or that's what I always do here on Emil Amok's Takeout. We're here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, live. I'm in the flesh. I'm live because it's they call it live streaming. You're not dead streaming, right? I mean, you're a real person. But I guess you could live stream a tape and then you can say as live. I did that a couple times or once, but I like to do these live at 2 o'clock because it just sort of feeds into that instinct of, here we are, we're live. Make no mistake. And it's real, it's authentic, and we are just here with you, giving you information, serving you. Hey, look, there are no ads on this program. Although, look, I'll slip you my Venmo. I mean, we could do Patreon, but that takes some time to set up. And look, I do this out of the goodness of my heart because this is my virtual option, right? I mean, I saw a news story about how there are no, virtual weddings are now dead. Now people are having live weddings and then live weddings with virtual options. That's a thing. So, but this is like, I haven't seen Emil in a while. Well, you can catch him, on Facebook at emilguillermo.media or on my Emil Guillermo Facebook page or on amok.com. You can see the recording on my website, amok.com, or we are now, this is now streaming on YouTube. Yeah, you could see me on YouTube anytime, not just streaming live, but I just decided, oh yeah, let's put it on YouTube. All right, we're on YouTube. And it's like a free show. Unless you say, Emil deserves something for his time. I mean, he goes to the fringe festivals and he'll play to like 10 people or 5 people, and they'll pass a hat, and even they throw in a few shekels. But now this is not a fringe festival. I am a storyteller performer, but hey, for the last, I hate to say this, the last 30 years, I've been a journalist, a writer, a columnist, in, of all places, Asian Week, SF Gate, now writing at the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. In fact, my column is the longest running Asian American column on Asian Americans that has appeared anywhere, ethnic media, white media, the last 25 years. It's a distinction I'm happy to say I guess that's a distinction. But anyway, so I've done columns, I've done talk shows, and so this is just part of me. Say, oh, it's 2 o'clock. Let's open up the mic and just talk. Oh, and I'll put on the blue blazer to make it look like, oh, well, he could dress up. Emil Amok's Takeout. Also the podcast. If you catch the podcast, wherever you podcast, we do an interview show, and the latest one is on Little Manila Rising, going door to door in Stockton to help fight the COVID scare. or the COVID pandemic. They have talked to so many people door to door, like 2,000 conversations, and the vaccination rates have gone up from like low 30s to 50% or more, which is better, not quite 75, 80% where we need to be, but that's what it's going to take, people going door to door. And so I like to say, just right off the bat, during this section, which is before 2 o'clock, which I call the lagniappe section, a little something extra. I like to say, hey, this show really, besides being the micro talk show of the AAPI and the AAXs, we're like the antidote to the non the anti-vaxxers out there. The people who are saying, hey, like, I don't be skeptical, don't trust it. Look, trust the vaccine. I know now they're talking about boosters. Get the vaccine, forget about the booster for now. When the data comes in and they say it's right to get the booster, then everyone will be in agreement. Right now they're discussing. There's no question about the vaccine. Go out there and get the vaccine. I've been vaccinated. My vaccine is good for, according to, their studies, maybe a few more months. When it's booster time, I'll get the booster. Someone very close to me in my family had symptoms that could have been COVID. Thank goodness it wasn't. It was just a regular flu. And now I've got to rethink, am I going to get a flu vaccine? I mean, this year I think I'm going to do that. I hadn't in the past because we're always retro when it comes to vaccines on the flu. It's always last year's flu they protect you from. And but I have to admit, and I've mentioned this before, I didn't have COVID, but I have had pneumonia, which is similar. It felt like someone like cracked a baseball bat against my ribs. I was the sickest I've ever been in my life. 104, 105 temperature, really sick as can be. I was going to say sick as a dog, but I wanted to spare the dogs how badly I felt. Vaccine, please. Get the vaccine, please. Uh, Pneumonia is not quite as bad as COVID, but it can kill you. COVID can kill you too. New report today said that, hey, a third of the cases are those long haul COVID cases. That's terrible. The stories, the anecdotes about long haul COVID, not good. You could ward against that by getting the vaccine. Public service. That's if I just pop open the mic and say, get the vaccine, that's a public service. I mean, I was just thinking, I'm going to talk about, the recall election is still, the post election thing is still important. I'm going to talk about that. But imagine this. In California, 66,000 people died of COVID. So far, I haven't heard any real major claims of any kind of election fraud in California. But if there were people dying, voting, if just the COVID deaths came back and voted, who do you think they'd vote for? I mean, whoever's manipulating can make them vote for anybody. But if they were alive, I think they'd vote for Newsom, not for his recall. But I bet you there would be more than a handful of deathbed conversions saying, hey, I was wrong. I should have been vaccinated. Only 66,000 deaths in California from COVID as of today, at least from the numbers I checked. Anyway, yeah, so welcome to the show. We're into the 2 o'clock hour live. This is show number 138. And of course, we're going to talk about, well, first of all, Happy New Year. I got to say Happy New Year to my Jewish friends. I was part of the tribe. There's a lot of Asian Jewish kind of relationships, right? And this is Day of Atonement, right? Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah is the New Year. Yom Kippur is the day we atone. I know that just from my 3 months of marriage. That's it, 3 months. That's as long as I was with the tribe, 3 months. But enough so that I know this kind of stuff. Yom Kippur, this is the day that you atone. So think about what are you sorry for? I'm later on going to have a conversation with a friend of mine who's Jewish. He was not going to do a show today because, there's all these rules. You can't bathe, you can't wash, you can't wear leather shoes. So I am wearing plastic flip-flops today. Well, I wouldn't wear leather. I'm vegan. Everything I have on is vegan. You can't wash, you can't what else can't you do? You can't eat. You got to fast. You can't eat or drink. So my friend made a joke. He said, "Oh, all the Jews will be going out to Asian restaurants. All the Jews who can't fast, they'll be at the Asian restaurants." Which kind of funny, with a better setup, maybe. But I just want to. I thought maybe I do some sympathetic fasting for you know be a sympathetic Jew for the day. But it's hard to fast, and I fast regularly. I regularly intermittent fast at least 12 or 16 hours. And I could go 24 if I had to. But I wasn't, when it came up, I wasn't thinking about it and I wasn't prepared to do that. So I had some coffee. So I guess that technically that disqualifies me. But if you're fasting, hope you have a good fast. If you're atoning, and we all should atone. It shouldn't be just the Jews. I could be a sympathetic Jew by atoning for something. So what am I sorry for? What would you atone for? Trump jokes? But I don't know. Trump jokes that's just like, that's kind of passe. That's not even a sin. That's kind of like comedians would say, "Oh, that's hacky." You wouldn't That's not a sin. So what would be a sin that thinking, well, if you thought ill of someone and wanted to do some harm, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to think about this because this is serious stuff. Because as the story goes, you want to be in the good book, the book of life. You want to be sealed in the book of life. You say, Happy New Year. May you be sealed in the book of life. Or, a soon after sequel. You don't want to be left out, right? I mean, you keep the books, you atone, you make good, you get on the good side of everyone. I mean, think of the things, the 10 commandments, right? Thou shalt not kill. Okay, didn't do that. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. If you don't know what covet means, I guess that absolves you. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's things. I don't want that car. Okay, that's thou shalt not kill that honor thy mother and father. That's one of them. Oh yeah, I honor. Don't dishonor them. No, just think of all the sins. What would you consider a sin? Voting for Trump? I don't know if we could forgive you for that. Did you vote for him? There's a lot. There's some out there. Did you vote? Did you vote yes on the recall? Can we forgive you for that? I don't know. I think we'd have to think about that one. I'm getting a lot of emails from people, Asian Americans, who are down in District 39 in California. District 39 in California is the Jay Chen for Congress district. It was flipped by Young Kim, and she's the Republican Asian woman who is now representing Orange County. Interesting thing about Orange County this time out, Orange County was no, resoundingly no. Orange County. Young Kim flipped it congressionally. Asian woman, right? Asian Republican. She won it back. But she was seen with Larry Elder. She's got all these pictures of her with Larry Elder out there. Now, if you're conservative and you're saying, well, okay, Elder lost and we had this recall It costs 300 million. Doesn't sound very conservative to me. And you got so the recall was just unpopular. I mean, that was the proof was on Tuesday night, right? Recall repulsed. That would have been my headline. Recall repulsed. Throw in a resoundingly if you want, but I don't. Recall repulsed. Uh, yeah, that would have been my headline phrase. But young Kim in Orange County still out there being she's out there with Larry Elder, who I talked about it on my show, this show here. I didn't write about it on my ALDEF blog, the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund website, where my column appears now. It was 15 years in Asian Week, and the last 11 years in on the ALDEF blog. I didn't want to write about it because, frankly, I thought, Larry Elder said on Monday before the vote, he said there were lawyers looking to make sure that this is going to be a fair election, that there was nothing, no dirty, hanky panky kind of stuff. And I know that in the concession speech that he gave on late Tuesday, he said that we lost the battle, but we're going to win the war. Something to that effect. Well, what does that say? Lost the battle, meaning the election, or meaning there's going to be some kind of challenge later? So I didn't want to just concede him a certain amount of graciousness. I wanted to say, let's see what you're going to say about those threats about a rigged system. And then, of course, who did say there was the voting was rigged? None other than the Rigmeister himself, Donald Trump, in a statement on Tuesday night said, "Hey, we know California's voting is rigged. We know. No evidence." He's making claims like that. And of course, you're going to make claims like that if you're Donald Trump, because you know that's the only way you can win. So, I still feel like I want to call Larry Elder. I want to call him on his bluff. I want to see what he says. And I went to the California Secretary of State's, the website, looking at it now. I guess they update at 5 o'clock, but their website only shows that it's still 52%. Let's see. Shall Gavin Newsom be recalled or removed? And statewide, it's still 63.8% no, 36.2% yes. And that gives us roughly a 2 million vote difference. So I'm waiting, Larry Elder. I don't know. I'm giving Larry Elder the benefit of the doubt. He was so strong beforehand about just dropping the innuendos. I want to call him on his bluff. So I mean, this is the thing about this whole election thing, about the recall effort. The recall effort lost so well. As I said yesterday, it kind of made me proud to be Californian. If we could see through the BS. California, the most Asian state in the country by population. And in fact, there was just one Asian American who was running as an official replacement candidate. I know I had toyed with the idea that, hey, just write in Emil Guillermo. But, if you wrote in Emil Guillermo, they would have thrown it out. So don't waste your wasted vote. I mean, the vote is a waste anyway. If question one, the recall question, won outright, then question two, who should replace Gavin Newsom, is just moot. But there was one Asian American. If you Asian American scanners, you may have noticed that. Major Singh, a sick man. Was he sick to run? I don't think he was sick to. He has no preference, no party preference declared. A software engineer. So someone who's a software engineer sure has a lousy website. He sounds like he's cool on all the good on all the issues, but not a serious candidate. He took 14,907 votes, 0.3%. Small margin, but still. Look, we are at a stage really where every vote counts. And a 2 million vote margin in an election that should never have been, an election that was already kind of bogus to begin with, because there was no reason to have it, no reason to recall Newsom. But the Republicans wanted to just have a little fun, a little trouble, and to test what would happen. Didn't work in California. That's why I wish Major Singh, the sick candidate, sick. That's how they like to say sick.